Happy International Children's Book Day. Today, we're celebrating by talking to Riley Tejcek, first-time author who just recently published her first children's book, If You Can Dream It, Be It. Here are 14 questions that Smeeple got to ask Riley Tejcek.
So I'm so excited. This is my new children's book, If You Can Dream It, Be It. And I was so inspired to write this based off of what you see here in this cover. As a young girl, I never thought it was possible to be a Marine Corps officer because I never saw one. So a big part of the original idea for writing this book was to show young men and women, but women, that you can grow up to being a Marine, but not just a Marine. You can grow up into being so much more. So like me, I'm an active duty Marine, Team USA professional athlete, pageant winner, author, and more. And I just want children to know from a really young age that they can do absolutely anything that they want to, and that they're could be their own superheroes. And once you see it, you see that it's possible to work a certain kind of job or enter these industries that maybe you don't know if you're going to fit in right away. It is possible, and there's a place for everyone at any table.
Did you have a mentor growing up, or did you have multiple?
I love that. So I had multiple, and that's also in this book. So I'm going to give a little bit of a preview, but part of this book is about the young Riley asking people that she cared about or she looked up to growing up, such as a mentor, and what they just chose to be in their profession. So this is my father, who was a professional baseball athlete. My grandfather here, who was a Marine way back when, and my younger sister, who actually also was a pageant winner. So I had so many mentors and people I looked up to as I was growing up, and I saw people be successful in all different kinds of industries. And so I hope that maybe through this book, I can serve as a role model to some young children as well, when they start dreaming about the things that they want to do.
How do you juggle everything? I think it's amazing to know that you're a Marine captain, you're training for the US Bobsled team, and you wrote a children's book. Like, what was your time management skills? How did you do it, girl?
My big secret is this. I have more time in the day than you do. You can't go to Amazon and 2-day shipping for extra time in the day, unfortunately. But everyone has priorities, and we all have the same amount of time, and we all need sleep. We all need to eat. But outside of those things, you get to choose what your priorities are. And so I don't love the word, how do you balance? Because there is no balance. The scales are not even when we look at all the things that some of us juggle, but it's priorities. And so that can change day by day, month by month, year for year. My number one priority is being a United States Marine Corps officer. I raised my right hand. I made a commitment to serve, and that takes precedence over everything. Second is my training for Team USA. And then once I get those two things done, I'm able to dabble into things such as writing a book or doing some other fun things that I love. And I think that most people have the time. It's just not a priority. And so I really challenge anyone listening to this that if you find yourself using maybe the excuse of, I don't have enough time, maybe try rewording what you're saying. It's just know it wasn't a priority. And if it is a priority, can it be shifted to the next day? And are you accurately prioritizing what you need to do? I will just go on a little bit of a caveat here. I have been told by a lot of people that they don't have enough time. And one trick that I started to do for myself that I recommend to others, turn your notifications on to screen time and see how much time you spend on this lovely device, and then try telling someone you don't have time. My best advice to young girls who want to enter male-dominated fields is that there is a seat for you at the table. You do not have to act like one of the men to fit in with the men. Come as you are. You bring a very unique perspective and background, like I do, to the military or to whatever community that is. I think we're stronger when we all have different thoughts and opinions and backgrounds, multiple different eyes and brains trying to solve problems and work together. I think that's what makes us really strong. So my best advice would be, come as you are and know that there is a place for you. You may not feel like you fit in right away, but don't try to act and be something that you're not.
How was the publishing process like? As a first-time author, was it intense? How long did it take?
Being a first-time author, I learned so much. I worked with a publishing company. They're called In-Game Press. They're incredible, all female owned, but they're a smaller company. And what you don't realize is I wrote a children's book. It's really small. It's 32 pages. And to be honest, there's not a whole lot of words on the page. But what you come to realize is there's so much work that goes into this, all the way from having the right word, sharing the story, finding a proper illustrator. Janet did incredible, and then distributing it. So it's been a year and a half that it's taken to get to this day, to where this book is ready to launch and to get to all of you guys. And that is something that I've had to be patient in. I've had to take a lot of feedback. I've had to learn so much, listen to so many podcasts, ask a bunch of questions, but I am just proud that I was able to see this process through. I know a lot of people say that they want to write a book. I know a lot of people say they want to publish a book, and most people fall short of that because of the obstacles that come up. And I just want to serve to a reminder of anyone who does, it is so rewarding when you get to hold this in your hand and feel it and see it, and hopefully have people want to buy it and value it as much as you do. But ultimately, you sharing your story is extremely vulnerable as well. And I am just really excited that I'm able to put myself out there with the optimism that a lot of young children's lives can be impacted by it.
If you had one dream reader, someone famous or influential, read your book, who would it be and why?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think off the top of my head, I want to say Dolly Parton, because I know that she has a big publishing firm where she works a lot with children's books. So I want her to read it and be like, I like that story. We should get it out to more kids. Or, Oprah, and be on her show and like talk about that, just because there's eyes on it. And I think that would make it so special. Plus, those are two women that I think are very well valued in their communities. And this book is for men and women, but in particular, my heart is to the young girls out there.
Well, I definitely love that answer, because I'm from Tennessee and Dolly is my girl. And I go to Dollywood all the time. And the Imagination Library is something very, very special. And my daughter and my son have both received books from there.
Oh.
So I kind of wanted to surprise you and ask you this. So my daughter has been super excited about the book and wanting to get it. And I just was like, honey, what are some questions that you would love to ask Riley if you got to actually see her? And the first thing she said to me was, I just want to tell her thank you for serving my country.
Oh my gosh.
Which I thought was absolutely adorable. But she was like, one of her questions was, could I really write my own children's book?
Yeah, you can. Absolutely. It's possible. Yeah.
Yes.
I love that question. Can I? And it's that curiosity. And it's what I talk about in this book. I'm trying to find the exact page off the top of my head, but it talks about being bold and courageous. And that's exactly what I want people to understand, is that if you can dream it, if you can see it, if you put yourself out there, if you dare to dream, if you be bold, you make that known, there's no limitation to what you're able to accomplish in this world. And I am no more qualified than anybody. Trust me. I am not the best when it comes to the English language. I say y'all, my mom makes fun of me. I studied political science. I'm a Marine. Like there's nothing new about this everything was new about this. I didn't know anything. And so your daughter absolutely can. And I hope that because she asked that question and she gets told this, that maybe that sparks something in her to let her know that she too can write her own book, and her story is just as powerful as the rest of us.
The other question she had is, what led you to be a fighter for our country?
The Lord, I feel like, really called me to the military. I never saw a woman in uniform like we talked about earlier, but I wanted to be a part of the best. And I knew the Marines were the best. And I knew ultimately I had been given so much with my freedom and the ability to live the life that I did when I was growing up, that I would do anything to defend that for other people. And growing up as a Christian, a big part of what I love doing is being a servant leader and serving others. And I felt like serving my country was fulfilling that requirement. It is not easy. Every person who serves makes sacrifices to some kind of extent, but I am thankful for the men and women that make up that 1% that serve alongside with me, and they truly are all heroes.
The other thing is that she wants to know, how tough do you have to be a Marine?
I love that question. I think toughness is relative, but what I will say is, to be a Marine, you have to be able to endure hard things. And there's a lot of times that your body physically can endure the hard things, but your mind mentally stops you from doing that. And so you have to train for it. I think anyone is capable, to be honest with you. I think it's just not comfortable. And a lot of people want to live their life in a way that provides comfort, and I don't blame them. So you have to be tough enough to not sleep and still perform. You have to be tough enough to be in cold and unfavorable conditions in the rain and still push through and get the job done. You have to be able to be so tough that you can withstand being away from your family and not always talking with your friends and being at the weddings and the events, but knowing that at any moment your country can call upon you and you have to answer it. I think that everyone is capable. I think it's a matter of, do you have what it takes between your ears to be able to persevere and push through?
So going with that and writing the book, were you able to just sit down and write it in one day, or did just your thoughts come and they transpire, or did you have to get called and go to be a captain or training? Like, how did it all come to fruition for you?
I wrote this book when I was at the Olympic Training Center training for bobsled, and I went through an injury and I had fractured my foot. And instead of being negative about missing training and having to rest, I wanted to make the most with my time. So instead of watching Netflix and feeling sorry for myself, I said, you know what, I think it's time, because I said before I'm 30, I wanted to write a book. So I started just writing, and it wasn't perfect, and it took several days, but I gave an outline. I gave an idea of where I wanted the story to go, and themes and characters, because all these characters are named after people that have been influential in my life. So it was one where I wasn't sit down, it has to get done. I didn't give myself timeline. I kind of let it be fluid, but I definitely spent a lot of time on it, because anytime you go through an injury or a setback, I wanted to throw myself into a positive mindset instead of something that I could let spiral and knock me down. I had the amazing opportunity to work with a lot of middle school, high school athletes. I was a softball player growing up before I became a bobsledder, and that's just kind of my community, but more so being able to talk to young athletes. And this world has evolved, and I think that people are realizing that you have to focus more on the mental side of sports. So I have a 6-week program. It deals with goal setting and time management and how to eat, sleep, act, train as an athlete, how to work together and be an actual teammate, the positive and negative sides of self-talk and the mental side of the game, and wrapping that up. So I would love to continue to work through that program with Smeeple, and anyone that is interested in young girls or boys that are going through sport before they get to college and just tuning up their skills. I think that I have a lot of really great positive feedback to offer for young athletes and mentorship that can come along with it. And I think Smeeple is a great platform where we'll be able to interact with people from all over in a schedule that makes sense for us, and the ability to use the internet to connect from all over the world instead of having to do it in person, I think is an added benefit. May is graduation season, so I know that comes for high schoolers, for people in college, even people who took masters or other different programs. My main thing is, don't make the moment bigger than what it is. And what I mean by that is, people stress about finals and they make it into this big thing. If I don't pass this test, my life's over. Minimize your anxiety by, as silly as it sounds, going outside, getting on walks, positive self-talk, and proper preparation. Proper preparation comes from proper planning. Plan time to make time for yourself, but also time to be in your studies, time to start having those conversations with outside companies or colleges, and allow yourself the ability to have some added white space. So if things come up, you can attack that. the reason why I say that is I feel like a lot of people wait till the last minute. And I feel like a lot of people really spiral with anxiety because they didn't properly plan and set up the right resources when they could back in March that could pay dividends in May. What I will also say is congratulations to everyone. You are about to enter a wonderful chapter of your life that is just getting started. You should take a moment also to be proud of what you have accomplished and not always focus on what next. Give yourself a day or a dinner or whatever to really celebrate what you did. Sometimes we do have to celebrate our goals, and sometimes I see people skipping that step and just going into what's next. But then you're not rewarding your body and your mental for the things that you did. So it's a balance. Prepare properly so you can celebrate accordingly, but reflect and have a plan of attack so that when it's time, you're not anxious, you're not caught off guard, and you have the complete confidence to know that you can attack anything that comes your way.
You are truly inspirational. Like we need to get you to meet Dolly. Like you and Dolly down together would be awesome. I feel like there would be so much takeaway from that. Is there anything, Riley, faith-wise that just really spoke to you going through everything in being a Marine or bobsledding or writing this children's book? We do have so many athletes on Smeeple that are Christian-based and they're struggling, and I think they would just really love to hear from somebody who is faith-driven and God speaking to them and leading them to where they need to go.
I couldn't even narrow it down to one event where the Lord was working because he works nonstop in my life. The Lord is why I have all of these things. And even in your question, every single thing is because he opened a door. So I'll even talk about bobsled briefly. I was a softball athlete. I played Division I softball. I never thought of the sport of bobsled growing up. I felt like the Lord and I were in conversation, and I was asking him, God, what is next for me? I have this desire. I have this capacity. I want to continue to be an athlete. What does that look like? How can you use me for something? Like, I am ready. And that's when the door of bobsled opened up. I am not a collegiate sprinter. They normally recruit sprinters. I was a softball player. I'll put it this way. Like, I was very underqualified, and we see that. The Lord calls on people that are quote unquote underqualified. I think of David. I think of Joseph. I think of all these Saul. I think of all these people in the Bible that the Lord calls that were underqualified or wouldn't be good for the role that they're about to walk into. And he takes you and he qualifies you through his blood and through his mercy and through his grace and the blessings that he bestows over you. And that's what I felt like it was for me for bobsled. I felt like I had no business being there. I answered. I felt like I was called there, and the doors just kept opening and opening and opening, and it got easier and easier. So much so where I'm like, the Lord is written all over this, because I don't even know how this has happened. And it's the same through my military career and my deployments and this book. The Lord has just showed me his love for me, and I walk into that. And the whole point of what I'm trying to get at in this book is Joshua 1:9, my favorite Bible verse. Have I not commanded you? Do not be afraid or fearful. Be strong or be bold and courageous, for I, the Lord your God, are with you wherever you go. And he starts with a question. He says, have I not commanded you? He's like, have I not told you, right? It's rhetorical. And then he says, do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. It's like, well, how many times do I let fear prevent me from doing things? I let fear prevent me from writing a book because I don't know how to do it. I let fear hold me from trying a new sport at the age of 23 because I've never done it. I let fear prevent me from joining the military because I'm a woman and I don't know if I belong. This is be bold and courageous. And the way I take that is I see just like this warrior that's like running towards whatever it is, but you're bold with the Lord because you're running and it's powerful. And it doesn't mean that you won't fall on your face. It doesn't mean that you won't be told no a million times by a million people. But I believe that you should go out and ask the Lord and talk to him about what you want. He knows the true desires of your heart. He has a proper plan for you, but it's conditional. You have to do the work and the Lord will provide the blessings and miracles. You can't sit on your couch and pray for something and just expect it to happen. So you do the work, allow the Lord to provide the blessings, and there is nothing that the Lord cannot do. And I believe that wholeheartedly. And I have peace that regardless of the circumstance, that it's going to work out according to his will. So I would love more than anything to continue to have this conversation with anyone who is there and is seeking Christian counsel and guidance from someone who's been there. I do not have all the answers. And boy, do I fall short of the glory of God every day. But I make it an effort to show up and to be in relationship with him so he can continue to help guide and lead my path through whatever he has next for me.
That's it. One big amen. So what's next? Are you looking at writing another book, or what is your journey leading you to? We're super excited to hear about it.
I have a lot of things that are in the works of what's next. I've been asked this question a couple times, and people I don't think are ready for this answer. I cannot wait to be a mom. I can't wait to walk into motherhood. And I have a boyfriend that we're extremely serious. We're talking about marriage and getting engaged this year. And something that I have yet to have the privilege of doing is being a mom. And I see so many awesome people out there. I know being a mother is a full-time job, but it's something that I can't wait to walk into. So that's normally people are like, I wasn't expecting that. In addition to that, but that is like the thing that's at like the forefront of my mind. I would love to write more books. I already have a couple ideas. I love writing to children. Eventually, I think I want to write an older adult book, but I don't think my story's finished yet. So I still want to continue to evolve through some of these things to write that. But I have a couple other ideas. I want to see how this one does. Obviously, I would have to get picked up again by the publishing company or someone else or somebody, right, that would be interested. So I think as long as this book goes well, Lord willing, I think there might be some more opportunities. I also am working to get into professional speaking and speaking engagements. So I'm really excited to hopefully not only read my book in person, but speak to adults, the youth, elderly, any and all kinds of people through a variety of different topics. I know Smeeple is a platform to do that, but also in person at conferences and stuff like that. And I also have the desire to hike Mount Kilimanjaro. So that is something that is a newer thing, that a thought that has get in my mind. And if you don't know me super well, which a lot of you probably don't, once I get a thought in my mind, I'm like determined to like chase it and go after it. So I am trying to make plans to do that. So that is a new, big, fun, exciting journey for me. And I also am excited to see what the Lord has planned for me that I don't know yet. So I'm waiting and I'm here.
That's wonderful. I think you will be an amazing mom, just so you know. I really do.